You wake up motivated. You slept well, and you know what your dream is, your long-term goal, the project, the one that will get you there, and yet you feel overwhelmed. Small. Why? What is this feeling? Well, it's not laziness. Science and psychology does have the answer and the solutions. Welcome to the symposium. That feeling is called anticipatory cognitive overload. So what's happening is this. Your brain is simulating your entire future. The project, the life, the meeting, all at once. Everything. And that simulation exceeds what's called your executive bandwidth, your mental bandwidth. So your nervous system is reading this overstimulation as a threat, and it proposes a relief. For me, it was just, let's binge watch some YouTube. Let's scroll some X, some Twitter. Stuff that's low entropy comfort. And that's called down regulation. You're down regulating your nervous system and the overstimulation. And that's not a failure on your part. That's just a psychological process happening. So here's the subtle core error. You're trying to hold two things in your brain at once. The intention and the execution. So think about it this way, right? Your brain is brilliant at long-range thinking, but the execution, the short-range thinking, the narrow scope and the immediacy, those two things are not compatible. So when they collide, system stalls. And the fix isn't motivational habits. Here's the big thing here. Here's the thing to focus on. Structural separation. So I see it as three modes, and they don't overlap. When they do overlap, that's when you get the cognitive overload going on. So, mode 1, orientation. These are the big questions, the meeting, the evaluation. This is when you think about the goals, who you want to be in the future, the big projects that will allow you to achieve what you want to achieve. Got to be done. But then the problem comes when that gets mixed in with the second mode, and that's execution mode. These are the smaller, more trivial tasks, the one thing at a time, the stuff that can be done in 10 minutes. When you're in this mode, the meaning, all the big questions from orientation mode, they're forbidden. To get things done, you need to be in execution mode and remain in execution mode till you've executed, to give murdered the task that you've got in front of you. Then the last mode is recovery mode. These are rest. You time them, you name them, you end them cleanly, you do something you love that relaxes you, whether that's friends, family, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And the most important rule when you're starting in the morning is that you're not allowed to think about your life until after your first trivial action is done. It's especially important on the bad days when you don't wake up well rested, you don't wake up motivated. This is when the goal isn't progress. It's identity community. It's about seeing yourself as the kind of person that does these things. And that's only really done in execution mode. That's when it's achievable, when it's doable. So when overwhelm hits, remember this. Nothing needs to make sense yet. You only need to move from object A to object B. And that's how momentum is rebuilt. Quietly, structurally, consistently. So, the next time you are feeling anticipatory cognitive overload, name what it is. Tell yourself, this is anticipatory cognitive overload. And ask yourself this question. What's the small task that's next on the list? When you got that, do that. Nothing else matters. Nothing matters apart from that simple task.